Day 47, I'm reading Reader Come Home by Marianne Wolf, page 175. In another part of the MIT Media Lab, Cynthia Brazil helps children acquire a variety of coding skills through personal interactions with what have to be the cuddliest robots any child has ever encountered. She and her team demonstrate how a combination of social interactions and programming skills help children learn how to construct, deconstruct, and program robots so that they can move, will, and beep. In the process, children understand why and how things in the digital world work. Such active forms of digital-based knowledge give children insights that cross every domain of learning. Specifically, the parallel and mutual supportive processes that children learn while coding and creating complement the processes used in learning to read in a print medium. At some still unpredictable instance comes the moment of transition, when the child has learned a great deal within both mediums and across multiple media and is ready and probably anxious to be reading more schoolwork on screens. Exactly when this happens will depend on the child's individual characteristics, reading abilities, and environment. Understanding individual differences matters. For some children, online reading instruction can't begin too soon. For others, it needs to be phased in much more slowly over time. Mirit Barzilai, along with Jenny Thompson and Anne Mangan from the European e-Read Network, is trying to confront the cognitive challenges inherent in children's reading on screens in a digital world. Both they and I are convinced that the next generation's deep reading processes will be most endangered by the digital medium if we do not teach the proper uses of digital learning and screen reading from relatively early on, rather than leaving children to develop willy-nilly digital habits of mind that are counterproductive. To prevent the latter counter skills would be taught as soon as a child begins reading on screens. Emphasis would be placed on the importance of reading for meaning, not for speed, on avoiding the well-known scheming, word spotting, zigzag style of many adult readers, on the regular monitoring of their comprehension while reading, checking for the plot sequence and clues, and rehearsing their memory for details, and on learning strategies to ensure that they deploy the same analogical and inferential skills with online content that they learned for print. An example of an already existing tool that could help children monitor their online reading is the Thinking Reader program created by David Rose and Mayer and the team at the Center for Applied Special Technology. Based on universal design for learning principles, an approach that attempts to create the most flexible, engaging ways of learning for many different kinds of children, the Thinking Reader program embeds UDL principles within text by providing different levels of strategic supports. For example, this program incorporates a hyperlink that gives background knowledge for an unknown concept or provides specific reading strategies, such as when to visualize, summarize, predict, or question, but only as needed. The latter point is very tricky to implement. One of the consistent cautions about the use of digital technologies, particularly for struggling learners, is the tendency by children to rely too heavily on external supports, particularly when there is an option for the text to be read to them rather than by them. Work by cast and also a large corpus of research sponsored by the MacArthur Foundation Digital Media and Learning Program illustrate how theoretically guided digital tools, particularly at the right moment in the display and with the right support by teachers, can advance, not impede learning. This is especially helpful for children with challenges ranging from motor and sensory impairment to dual language learning to dyslexia. Other tools for reading online would target more pragmatic problems, such as the best uses of search engines, choosing the right search word to locate information, and very important, learning how to evaluate information in searches so as to see biases and attempts to influence opinion and or consumption, and to recognize the potential for false, unsubstantiated information. For false, unsubstantiated information. Directly addressing the kind of decision making, attention monitoring, and executive skills that are necessary for good online reading and internet habits. It's good for all learning, whatever a child learning style and on whatever medium children use. Within that context, discussing the good, the bad, the attractive and the potentially harmful realities of internet usage should become this culture's version of the sex education courses of the past and the basic part of the training that accompanies every elementary school teacher's toolbox. Julie Coiro makes the important point that we need to teach children digital wisdom so that they learn, first, how to make good decisions about content, and second, how to self-regulate and check their attention and ability to remember what they have read during online reading, both in and out of school. The ultimate goal in this plan is the development of a truly biliterate brain with the capacity to allocate time and attention to deep reading skills regardless of medium. Deep reading skills not only provide critical antidotes to the negative effects of digital culture, like the diffusion of attention and the tension of empathy, but also complement positive digital influences. A child who combines reading stories about refugee children with online access to actual footage of migrant refugee children waiting with their lives suspended in Greece or Turkey or upstate New York develops more empathy than one who simply reads about the situation and goes no further. At the surface level, our 21st century children appear more cognizant of their connected world than ever before, but they are not necessarily building the deeper forms of knowledge about others that enable them to feel what it means to be someone else and to understand that other's feeling. As Sherry Turkle noted in Alone Together, our children often do better texting each other from a shared backseat than discussing their thoughts and feelings face to face. Deep reading skills that involve various media may help children build a more developed, compassionate imagination. If all goes well in this proposed plan, by the time they are approximately 10 to 12 years old, most children will be proficient in reading in two mediums and multiple media, and able to switch effortlessly between them for different tasks. They will have begun to learn for themselves which medium is better for which type of content and learning task, and they will know how to read deeply and think deeply, regardless of medium. If we can achieve such goals for more and more of our children, as Pope Francis wrote, society will be healthier and the world more humane. Okay, I should stop here. Thanks so much, and please correct me if you can. Thanks.